Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Excited to have Jill Barrett joining us here, our energy medicine practitioner, also Reiki master teacher, and owner of her own company, Energy Healing with Jill. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh, good. Thank you. It's nice to meet another Jill.
Oh, it is so exciting. I love it. I love it. I love it. Pleasure to have you. Please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
Yeah, sure. I am an energy healer, and I offer in-person and virtual energy healing treatments. So I'm in Rhode Island. So if you're local, you can come see me in person. But I work with energy, so you don't need to actually be in front of me at all. You know, energy goes through time and space. I can work with people anywhere in the world. So.
Well, we're excited to have you. Jill Barrett, how do we contact you?
JillBarrett.net. 2 R's, 2 T's.
Perfect. Easy breezy. Before we get started to talk more about Reiki, what energy healing is, and of course, all the modalities of it, and I should say all that you do, let alone the teaching, I want to talk about you as a young child. Could we go back a little? Tell me about your background and how did you discover this energy healing modality? Thank you.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So you know what it was really? It was a personal thing. And I don't even need to go back to childhood, but at some point I had like a midlife crisis, but it was an early one. It was probably in my early 30s because I'm wicked old now. So that was like 20 years ago, right? And I just found myself in a slump, in a funk, and I couldn't point to one particular event that caused it, but I just was cranky all the time, not happy in my skin, walking around on autopilot and having no idea why, right? So, you know, and on paper, my life looked perfect. So it was weird. I didn't know what was missing. And with a little exploration, I realized what was missing was me. I had sort of over time just gotten disconnected from who I am, what I like, what do I want. I had no idea. I couldn't feel me anymore. So that was sort of the beginning of my jumping into figuring out who I was, my self-discovery journey. I guess you could call it a spiritual journey. I didn't call it that back then, but that's really what it was. So, you know how when you sort of commit to something like that, all these opportunities just jump in front of you. So it was all energy healing, Reiki. I started taking classes, receiving energy work from myself, and learning everything I could. And what I realized is that when I came through the other side, that I really had changed. I felt better. I was more comfortable in my skin. I started owning all the parts of me. I opened up my heart. I had more compassion for myself and for other people. I lightened up. I had more fun. And I just found that my life was more juicy and colorful and full.
But you were a licensed massage therapist, right?
Yes, I was.
You were in the touch or arena in a sense. You're already healing in a different aspect.
That's right. That's absolutely right. I got the license to touch, and I really loved the one-on-one healing aspect of working with, working as a massage therapist. And then as I learned more modalities, energy healing modalities, I could add that into my massage therapy treatments. And that was wonderful too. But at some point, I decided, you know what? I just want to focus on the energy healing stuff. It's great. It's powerful. And so I'm not even doing the massage anymore. I jump right into the energy stuff.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're exciting. So on an impulse, you went to a class, you discovered this, and then all of a sudden it was like, wow, you have something new.
Yeah,
this is great.
And it worked with me. And so, I mean, it was a no-brainer to just want to share this with everybody else. Yeah. And I love the teaching aspect too, because, I use different energy healing techniques. So just as a comparison, one of them is called full spectrum healing. And that took me like 3 years to master. Like that's, if I compare that to Reiki you can learn in a very short amount of time. It's powerful in its own way, but it's easy to learn, and anybody can learn it because you're not manipulating anybody's energy field. You're just channeling the energy through you. So it's not even your energy. So it feels good. It's easy. I will say it's easy. So anybody can learn it. So I love teaching people to use it, especially even just that first level of Reiki is just enough for you to use on yourself, your pets, your family, your tomato plants, and it's
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Well, let's talk. Some people are like, well, what is Reiki? Tell me a little
Yeah.
bit about it, what the benefits are, and what it's like to receive this in person and virtually. I know those are some of the things we want to start off with for today.
Sure. So Reiki is a Japanese healing art. It's been around for a very long time. And basically what it does is it promotes healing and it reduces stress. And it has a gazillion benefits. It helps with the physical body with pain and discomfort. It gets blood flow moving again. It helps balance the energies in your body and helps release like stuck emotions and change thought patterns that don't work for you anymore. It helps build up your immune system. It soothes your nervous system. I mean, it's used in hospitals now all over the place. So it really is very, very useful. And Reiki is a Japanese word, and what it means, loosely translated, is spiritually guided life force energy. And life force is love. It's like that spark that's in every living thing. It's in us and it's around us, and our bodies know exactly what to do with it. So it's very familiar. When you give somebody Reiki, the body knows what to do with it. But what happens is we get depleted, right? We have our own energy, but over time, people are draining our energy. Life's moving fast. Things are happening, getting thrown at us, and we get tired, drained, and depleted. So one of the benefits of Reiki, or one of the things that Reiki does, is it helps you absorb more of this life force energy that you need for vitality, that you need, gives you the juice to do what you need to do. One of the other things that Reiki does is it actually goes into the body, even up down to the cellular level, and helps bring up gunk, stuff that you're done with. Old feelings, old negative energy that's just gets trapped in the body. And there's a million reasons why energy gets trapped in the body, but it does, right? And some baggage we get accumulates. So Reiki helps to kind of release whatever's ready to be let go. And it either sends it out into the ethers to be transmuted, or it goes through us, through our bloodstream, to be filtered out through the kidneys. You pee it out. So
Amazing. Well, there's also, you see, I learned about the modality of Reiki. My mom unfortunately passed of lung cancer 7 years ago now. But when she was going to the hospital, I was looking at the website, and it was a big New York City, Sloan Kettering in New York City, and I saw Reiki energy. I had no idea what it was, and then she never got to take part in trying the modality. But I know it helps with pain. So someone
yeah.
suffering with cancer, with the chronic pain issues as well, right?
Absolutely. And yes, absolutely. And in fact, I used to volunteer all the time. I'm from the Boston area. So there's some good Boston hospitals that have big Reiki programs where it's just complimentary. A patient can receive, their family can receive Reiki. And Reiki is just like a gentle hands-on healing art. So it's literally just placing the practitioner just puts her hands or his hands either right over or right on somebody's body. And there's different specific hand positions that you use, that you learn, just right around the body. And you're just holding it there. It's very gentle. It feels lovely. And for me, I remember the best part I knew I was successful with my Reiki treatments at the hospital when somebody would just fall asleep. Because I just remember
That relaxed, that calm.
right. Well, they have the nurses coming in every 2 minutes, and the beeping of all the machines, and they're just worried and stressed. And so just getting, letting them sleep for a little bit was helpful. That's all I could do in the 20 minutes that I would, of the mini Reiki sessions. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, let me also ask, do you want to give us some examples? You mentioned here of energy healing, and you mentioned healing is such an important way to really take care of yourself.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. So you know what? So here's a little scenario. Let's say you're walking down the street in New York, and you have a teenager's coming at you on his longboard. He's just about to pass you, and at the last second, by accident, he bangs into you and you fall down on the sidewalk, you break your wrist. So you go to the hospital, you get your wrist, you get the cast or the splint or whatever you need, and in 6 weeks, you take it off, and they send you to physical therapy for a few
Yep.
weeks. Then you're done. And they say you're healed. But that's not exactly true, right? We have this
So true.
energetic,
Yep.
the energetic component to the traumatic event of you, even if it's small, falling on the sidewalk and hurting your wrist. There's all the feelings associated with it. There's and if that's not dealt with, then the next time it's about to rain, you're going to feel that wrist, right? It's just always going to be a weak spot because the energetic part of what happened, the trauma around hurting your wrist was never dealt with. So Reiki and energy healing techniques can come in and sort of release all of that to it's like the third part of the healing to get
Well,
your wrist to be totally healed.
really?
Yeah.
Can you just give me an example how it works? Okay, so here we are on a Zoom. A client comes to you, like myself. So,
Yeah.
and explained, is there some people, are they frightened or afraid of it? Like, do they have to be willing to accept it? And what do we think? Because it's a little scary. It's like, well, what do you mean? Am I being hypnotized? Is it like it feels,
Right.
you got to make
Right.
the person feel comfortable.
Absolutely. So as a massage therapist, it's almost kind of similar. Somebody comes to you, and you talk to them. What is going on? What brought you here today? Maybe they have a physical pain, but maybe they're just feeling a little depressed. Maybe they're just super stressed out. Maybe they're dealing with whatever it is. They'll let me know what's happening, right? As little as much as they want. And it doesn't really matter. They tell me what they want to tell me. I can tune into their energy also. So I use some intuition, some other little props to tune into what their chakras are doing, what their aura field looks like.
So
And
chakras, and I heard there's like what, 7 main chakras or
seven
more in
main
the body.
chakras. Exactly.
Okay,
They're just, so we have our energetic anatomy, right? We have all these parts of us that you can't see. And, I always think of this too, because the kids learn what our heart does and how our digestive system works when they're like 12, right? But they never learn about the chakras. And we have this whole other part of us that's just as much a part of us as our physical bodies. And they need help. And anyway, that's my focus when I'm doing this energy healing stuff. I'm looking to see what their chakras are looking like. I'm looking to see what the layers around their body look like that you can't see, because those are our
wow.
emotional bodies, our mental bodies, and
So
yeah.
no, you mentioned, so you're an intuitive or an empath as well. You're saying you
No,
can kind of sense what
I
people
can
are.
sense it. Yeah. I mean, I use a pendulum. I mean, yeah. I mean, you can't not do this work and not be
Okay,
open to psychic hits. And, I
got
don't
it.
call
Okay,
myself a psychic or a medium, but, I get some stuff. I get
wow.
stuff and I use some of that. Yeah.
And by
Yeah.
the way, you're located in Rhode Island, right? Do you
Yeah.
do
East
you
Runner.
and do you do in-person work as well?
Yes, of course. Yeah. Yeah. So that's right. Yep,
And I
and
was
they would just lie. Generally, it's an hour. Somebody would come in, tell me what they're here for. They would lie on my table. Get all comfy. I play nice music, and I use my little props to figure out what I need to do, where the blocks are in their energy, right? What's holding them
yeah.
back? What needs to be cleared? And then I do my thing. It's just me placing my hands in certain positions for a certain amount of time. I'm guided to just move around their body. And when they're done, they get off the table. They feel relaxed generally. They have, sometimes they had a little aha moment that they want to share with me. Sometimes I
Hmm.
have some stuff I can share with them of what
Ooh,
I got, what I felt. But usually I bring them back into a state of balance, because when somebody's in a
beautiful.
state of balance, then that's when they can heal, right? I'm not really healing them personally. I'm facilitating their own healing
Got it.
process.
Yeah, and by the way, on your website, which we have to remind everyone how to contact you because we're at that time. So it's jillbarrett.net, correct?
Correct.
JILLBARRETT.net. And you can find out, what to expect and more of her her story on the website. But I also want to bring up, I read that you have a workshop, a Reiki level 1 workshop that's coming up in just a few weeks. What's that all
Yes.
about?
Yeah, so that's in 2 weeks. That's an in-person group training. If you are interested in learning just the first level of Reiki, and usually the first level Reiki is really for yourself. So
Okay.
self-healing, right? If you tend to be a person that's a little stressed out, that has a hard time sleeping, that's just needing a little self-love, this is the perfect what you learn it in a day, and you can go home after my class and start using it on yourself right away. We practice, it's Reiki is like a spiritual opening, right? And so when I teach my class, there's a meditation involved, and that's what sort of gets you the access to this Reiki energy so that you can go use it on yourself and your friends.
Awesome. And you mentioned food before too, right? You could do that as well.
Oh, food, yes, yeah. You can Reiki anything, right? You
Um,
can put your hands
my
on the
camera,
fish bowl.
I'm so sorry. I don't know why my camera went off. It
I know,
won't, it's
that's okay.
popping. It's your
I
energy. No,
see.
this happened the other day too. And it might have been with another intuitive. So it's interesting because sometimes I
Yes.
sit here and then I'm like, what's happening?
Oh my gosh, I have so many technical. There's always
Like
electrical things
glitches and
happening.
lights
Yes.
flickering and
I
all
just,
that stuff.
yes, it's just you get used to it.
Wow. So, and let me ask you, so how does it work with you and your family? And if you don't mind sharing, I read you have children. Do you
Yeah,
mind
so
telling me a little bit about them?
yeah, oh my God, they're adorable. I could talk about them for 20
Of
minutes.
course. I have a 7 and 9 year old. I get it.
Yeah. So two of them are in Manhattan, my daughters, and I have a son in San Diego. They're in their 20s, just sort of learning to be grown-ups, you know. But they learned Reiki too. I
I
taught
was
them Reiki.
going to ask. You did.
Yeah,
Okay.
back in high school, they learned Reiki in high school. So, it was an alternative. They have a headache. They don't need to take an Advil. They can give themselves Reiki. I mean, they still liked it when I did it. They're like, Mom, can you just do it for me? But they can do it for themselves and they can do it for each other. And, it's great. I feel like it should be in the school system. Wouldn't it be nice if as part of physical education,
Well,
they,
maybe we're not that far, right? Because we made so many leaps and bounds with
I
Western
know,
and Eastern medicine coming together like this. So maybe in
right?
the future it will be.
Yeah, I hope it's in the near future. It would be so helpful. Kids are so stressed out these days. There's so much anxiety and all the rest of it going on. This is such a nice way to really an exquisite form of self-care, really, really is. And easy, and anybody can learn it.
I love it, but not everyone could teach it. Come on, right?
Yes,
And you teach now, there's all different levels. So which Reiki do you
it is.
teach? And how do
Yeah,
you
I teach.
become
Yes. So there are three levels to become a Reiki master. First
okay?
degree, second degree, third degree is Reiki master. However, I also teach something called Lightarian Reiki, which is once you become a Reiki master, if you're looking to get bumped up to the higher realms on the Reiki spectrum, I teach online Lightarian Reiki classes too. So the energy keeps evolving, it keeps getting higher and higher and higher, so there's always more to learn. But yeah, the flavor of Reiki that I teach for first degree, second degree, and third degree is called Holy Fire Reiki, right? Over the last 30 years, there's been so many different kinds of Reiki sort of coming up, but I really love Holy Fire. It's a little bit it just feels very elevated to me, but again, anybody can learn it, and it's oh gosh, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Lightarian. I've never heard of that term.
Lightarian Reiki. Yes, yep.
That's the highest of all the highest.
That's the highest of the highest. If you are a Reiki master and you want to go higher, come call me.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, we still have 5 minutes left in your show, Jill. What else do you want us to know about you and your services? I'm sure there's a lot. So, where did you want to head to next?
Yeah, I don't know. What else could we talk about?
Well, I like hearing client stories. If you could tell me another one or two about some of the things you've helped people with and they come to you for.
Absolutely. Sure. Well,
If
I
you
mean,
don't
I
mind
have.
me jumping in. If not, go ahead.
No, of course. Do you know what? I see there's two groups of clients that I generally see. One group is usually is somebody that comes to see me because they are struggling with something in their life. It could be cancer. It could be an aging parent and they just can't. It could be a sick child, whatever it is, or something going on with them. That I support that
Mhm.
help them navigate that, right? So energy healing is so good for staying calm and grounded and clear so they know the right next thing to do, so they have the energy they need to do what they need to do, make the changes they need to make. So that's one group of clients that I see. The other group pretty much have things going okay. Things are working, they're balancing things the way they need to, but they come see me for just an energetic boost, an
Week.
energetic reset
Okay.
once a month. So I have monthly clients that are like, they're
Okay.
just by the end of the month, their self-esteem, their self-confidence might be
Hmm.
just dipping a little. They just might be getting a little depleted. They just might be starting to feel a little overwhelmed with everything.
Amazing.
And they get a nice reset.
I love that term, a reset. I love it.
A
It's like a little
reset.
pick me up. It's like a little shot of espresso once a month to awaken the body.
Exactly. So Yeah. And, I'm not, the person that I'm dealing with, if you have cancer or something, I mean, they just they're just able to be in their bodies so that they can experience whatever they need to experience. You know what I mean? It's not, energy work helps you bring light in and anchor it into your body so that you're connected to the divine, but
The
you're also
source,
grounded, yeah, the source, whatever you call it, but also grounded in the earth so that you just feel solid, and it just helps you deal with whatever you need to be dealing with,
Wow. So normally, to start, right? Does someone, do you have like any package deals to start, to booking? Do you do one session, or how do you know how many sessions somebody needs?
Right. So I guess they would see me the first time, and then I would make a recommendation of what I think they need to do. So they would just start with one session with me, see how they feel. We talk about what it is they're in for, and
Mm-hmm.
we go from there. So yeah, I could
Perfect.
recommend. Yeah.
And see what happened? My camera went off again. You know what it is? Maybe, but it's not, because I'm looking at your website as I'm talking to you. So maybe that's the problem. I apologize, but I was trying to read more on the site.
Oh.
Because you mentioned you get someone becomes more grounded, you feel more centered, right? Let me just ask
Right.
you, do like the change of the seasons we get to deal with here, in the Northeast, but like do you find more people need this boost in the wintertime, or does the
Well,
seasons have an effect on us as well?
I mean, they do, but I guess I'm seeing people spring, summer, winter, and fall. I don't feel like I'm seeing,
Isn't that a song? Winter springs. I can't sing, but
Yeah, so yeah, that's absolutely true. People come to me for, different reasons. And in the winter, they got the winter blahs and they're just needing a
hmm.
little bit. But I see people in the fall and they've got their issues and this. So I'm not sure. I feel like it's a year round thing.
All right. And if someone out there today is listening to give you a call, to go to the website, you can chat right there on the site. Do you offer an initial like discovery call, a free
Yeah, oh,
consultation, or I
absolutely.
don't know
Yeah.
what you call it? Yes. Good
Yep,
to
yep,
know.
absolutely. Anybody can call and we can have a talk about what I can do for you, and we can try it out. But it'll be your call, but it's good stuff. Good
Fantastic. Well,
stuff.
I love your
Yeah.
passion about it. You clearly love what you do, and you have some great recommendations, great testimonials. Go to Google. Again, JillBarrett.net, JillBarrett.net. And why should people reach out to you? What would you say makes you stand out? Because there's other Reiki masters out there, Reiki
Yeah,
teachers, but what makes you so good? I
uh,
like you.
thanks.
You got to
You
feel
know what?
comfortable with the person you talk to.
Yeah, I mean, there's a million people out there. You're right. And we all do something a little bit different, but I'm a practical person, and this energy healing is such a practical way to take care of yourself. You might feel like it's this
Good.
woo-woo out there kind of thing. It is backed by science. It works. It worked on me, and it's worked a million times on my clients, and it's just really good stuff. So I think somebody just, I don't know. I feel like you just get to know me and you'll
You're a
decide if
good person. And hold on,
I'm
hold on. Just wait before we go. One good question. Do you also do Reiki? We talked about on people, food, but what about animals? Do you do
Yes,
that,
oh,
or?
I do. Horses. Oh my gosh, that's
Oh,
my favorite thing to do. Yes, but you can work on your pets. I mean, every living thing can use life force energy, right? So, and with
beautiful.
your pets, you just need a little bit.
All
A
right.
little goes a long way.
Jill,
Yeah.
thanks so much for being here. Very exciting work you do. And thank you for taking the time to chat with us. And I hope some of our listeners today do reach out. Energy Healing with Jill, restore that balance to your life. Website again, JillBarrett.net. Do you have a phone number you want to share quickly, or a social
Sure,
media page before we go?
sure. 508-596-6609.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Jill. That's what I call
Thank you,
myself, Miss
Jill.
Jill. Have a
Yep.
great day. Okay. Thank you again.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.